Hello, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one. I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And what you doing?
I'm recording a podcast.
Mom, Phineas and Ferb are recording a podcast.
Oh, that killed me.
Hello and welcome to From the Closet. Today we are covering Phineas and Ferb, the movie Across the Second Dimension. Uh, shit, I did not look at the schedule to see what we're doing.
You talk about the rest of this thing. I can look up the schedule.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up the wheel. So you can plug that one in for whatever.
Okay,
And the wheel landed on the Matrix.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm not sure how we
okay.
Not
Welcome everyone on December 20th. Next week you have The Matrix. Yeah. Matrix on Monday, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 the next Tuesday.
okay. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun to cover. But yeah, so anyway, in the description below, you can find a link to Just Watch, which will have links to all the places that you can stream this movie on, as well as purchase or rent it. Our links are centered around the US, but if you use the Just Watch app, it will redirect you to your country's page. And if you use the website, you'll be able to change the country from the website page. Also, in the description is a link to our Patreon where you can vote on future episodes of this show, as well as get access to episodes of this show early, as well as our sister show, Off the Shelf, which is about books. Also, in the description is a link to Anchor.fm, which contains links to every other platform that this podcast is on, as well as links to our Instagram and Twitter, where you can be notified whenever we release a new episode. With all that being said, this episode will contain spoilers for Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension.
Okay, before we
you've
get
been
into
warned.
that,
please leave.
You just said Instagram. I just remember, I woke up, decided to look at some of our podcast stats, open up Instagram, 3 new followers. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we seem to be getting followers decently quickly for as small as we are.
Yeah, we're at like 17 followers, including you. I'm like, this is surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like our podcast has been growing a lot recently, through really no effort of our own.
I mean, I guess,
and that's,
at this point, we share it out, and then we just have to rely on algorithms and word of mouth to do the rest of the work.
Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, this episode will contain spoilers for Phineas and Ferb, the movie Across the Second Dimension. So you have been warned. Please leave now if you would like to avoid spoilers. Okay, goodbye, non-spoileries. Phineas and Ferb find out that Perry is a secret agent.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And that's going to set up that's going to be a source of tension between Phineas and Perry throughout a lot of the movie, and I feel like it's maybe a little overdone.
I could see that, though. I mean, this entire, plot is kind of what the show was building up to. Perry just disappears and then gets in just in time, to not get caught. Especially close in some cases.
Yeah, it's weird. And also there was the whole connection of like, oh, there's the mysterious force that always takes everything away before Candace can bust her brothers.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, though something I can totally believe Candace making up.
Yeah. You know what's a line of dialogue that particularly annoyed me?
What's that?
It's a line from Stacy, where she says, I'm a woman of science, at least according to my horoscope.
Honestly, that was pretty funny.
I'm just like, stupid fucking horoscope shit again.
I mean, it was made as stupid horoscope joke.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. For some reason, until rewatching this movie, I was getting it confused with. I assume it's just an episode of Phineas and Ferb, where basically there's this weird virus going around that turns everyone into Doofenshmirtz.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, it was a weird episode, and like I've seen it a lot in clip compilations.
My name
And
is
for some
Doof,
reason,
and
I
you'll
thought it
do
was
what
from.
I say. Whoop, whoop.
Okay, that's a
I know
completely
it's a
different
different
episode, I
episode,
think.
but like, that's the first thing that it reminded me of.
Yeah, that's the one that Gitchy Gitchy Goo is in.
Got addicting songs all around here.
Yeah. Speaking of addicting songs, Everything's Better with Perry is probably my favorite song in this movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But there's also like a really good one that Phineas sings about summer in this movie, and I can't remember the name of it. And then just Slash from Guns N' Roses shows up in the credits, and I'm like, okay,
Wait,
this is happening now.
another license? Oh my god. Like, this should not be compared to the previous episode that we did on the TV special. But you just can't help to remember that Ocean Man was also in SpongeBob as well.
Yeah, but this wasn't a licensed song in Phineas and Ferb. It was just Slash showed up.
Just honestly, if Phineas and Ferb, that just makes sense. Just random characters showing up. I know, like, hi, I'm here now.
Yeah. If there's one complaint, like one other complaint I want to make is that I don't feel like the side characters are in it nearly as much as they could be. The Dimension 1 side characters, at any rate.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, Isabella is barely there, Baljeet, Buford.
Though I can also
Said
get
it.
why they would decide to not, like, underutilize them, especially when, they're in the regular show plenty enough. I think they want to explore.
Regular show.
I hate this. And they want to explore, the other dimension characters for most of the runtime.
There's also the Candace and Jeremy thing that's going on throughout this movie, which just like, in my opinion, was never as interesting as Phineas and Isabella. But that's just my take.
I don't know, I think in the later seasons of Phineas and Ferb, I kind of liked that dynamic.
Now, one thing I will complain about, and I think it's one of the major issues this movie has, is the kiss scene between Phineas and Isabella. Look, I get what they were going for. They were trying to make a cute scene, but if you really think about it, it's weird. It is so weird and kind of gross.
I don't see it in that way. It's fine for what it is.
Like, yes, we know Phineas likes her mostly because of his reaction, but, like, what if he didn't?
You'll never remember it
Isabella
anyway.
had no way of knowing that. Isabella had no way of knowing. To me, it comes off weird, and I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and they were agreeing that, yeah, maybe maybe they probably shouldn't have included that scene.
I don't see that as anywhere as problematic as you would. I mean, if he didn't like it, just, well, there, at that point, there's literally no consequences because no one would remember anything.
Yeah, except that at the end of the show, Phineas reveals that he does remember it.
That would literally be impossible.
He literally sings in a song, and I can't remember what the name of the song is, but he's literally one of the lines in the song is Isabella kissed me, but I got my mind erased. And then Isabella's like, wait, what? And then Phineas says, you just wait 10 years.
Wait, what?
Which everything about that is confusing.
This is not how memory erasal works.
Yeah, I also don't know how he knows about what's going to happen in Act Your Age, but that's everything about this is confusing, unless he time traveled.
I mean, yes, he can
Actually,
definitely time travel.
yeah, he can.
But then he wouldn't
we
know the fact that, because in Act Your Age, he was very oblivious that Isabella liked him at all.
Yes, but we also don't quite know exactly how time travel works. It seems to be very inconsistent and not very well defined.
In this show, or just in shows in general?
In this show.
Yeah, time travel does appear in some of the episodes. I remember that.
Yeah. But like the only possible way for this line for this song at the end of the show to make sense is if he not only time traveled to the events of this movie and saw what happened, but also time traveled 10 years into the future and saw what happened there.
Yeah.
Which, that's weird. But yeah, anyway, back on this movie. There's also some weird stuff. I don't think it's problematic in this movie. It's just, played off for laughs and stuff. But Carl not being paid, that's something that isn't really fully consistent with the rest of the show, but there are jokes about it in some other episodes.
I thought, throughout the entire show, he is an unpaid intern, and halfway of the
They
show,
don't often make...
he said...
he is, but they don't often make reference to it.
And then...
That's the point I'm making.
Halfway into the show, I remember there was an episode where he becomes a full-time intern that still doesn't get paid, but the title's changed.
Wow. But yeah, back on the music for a second, I do want to talk a little bit more about the song that Phineas sang to the other Phineas, because they worked in some parts of Today Is Gonna Be a Great Day, which I thought was really cool because the movie did not open with that.
Yeah,
a normal...
I was just thinking.
Go ahead.
The songs... Okay, I don't actually think I can remember a bad song in the original series. So I'm not that surprised that, the music in this movie was pretty good.
There are some bad ones. Like, there's one song where the lyrics are just "Go Phineas, go Phineas" over and over and over again.
I mean, was that really one of the... Well, it's easy to tell if that was the allotted song, if there was no other songs.
But yeah, and then there's some songs that are like, oh yeah, you just didn't write a song here. You just had a character sing an already existing song. Like Isabella singing Let It Snow.
No, did that actually happen?
Yeah. Isabella just sang "Let It
Wait,
Snow" in one episode. The lyrics were not
oh
changed
my
at
god,
all.
I'm an idiot. I confused Let It Snow with Let It Go.
Oh,
To be honest, I actually like Let It Snow.
why?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why sometimes in my brain I just start confusing those two songs by name alone, by the way. Well, reference that.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing too is like I've said it before, but Phineas and Ferb has had some odd crossovers.
Hmm.
They crossed over with Star Wars, and then they crossed over with Marvel.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was after they owned Marvel. Star Wars, I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure.
it's just so strange to me that these crossovers exist.
I don't find that strange. Though, what I find stranger, and I think because we're talking about Phineas and Ferb, it's okay to talk about this. The way that they handled Milo Murphy's Law, because, and I know you've heard a lot of bad things about it. I haven't heard, like I've heard, its praises sung, and then talking about what it could have done better. And one of the biggest things it could have done better is like it just felt it didn't have its own identity because it felt like it wanted to be Phineas and Ferb again, even bringing back the characters and having Doofenshmirtz be a main character. The
Yeah,
show never ended.
from what I've heard, the show couldn't really find an audience, and ironically, like people were ironically making the criticism that what could go wrong did, and yeah, that's quite ironic.
Yeah,
But
like they.
you know, I got to thinking just a second ago because, like you mentioned, Doofenshmirtz. Um, is Vanessa in this movie
I
at
don't
all?
think so.
Yeah, that's weird to me
Um,
because it feels like they made a lot of references to like other Phineas and Ferb episodes because there's like the roller coaster thing that they mentioned, and I think they even mentioned the backyard beach episode, time traveling. I think they mentioned a lot of
mhm.
stuff that the characters had done,
Yeah, Vanessa
and
not being there is weird. Though there was an interesting thing. This movie got a sequel as like TV a TV episode, and it's revealed where Doofenshmirtz in that reality um still got a divorce, but they only got a divorce for what a scheming reason.
mm, you know the usually I'll criticize a villain character for having motivations that kind of don't make sense. But like in this movie, the main villain of this movie is like second dimension Doofenshmirtz, and he's only really evil because he lost a toy train. Which just like to me, that's funny. Um, I and I don't think it's worth criticizing here. I think it's more worth criticizing it's when it's poor motivations, but that it's also not played off for comedy.
Yeah, like in Guardians of the Galaxy, there was a peace treaty. He
Who?
didn't like it.
Yeah, like for some reason my brain could not remember who the villain was for like a full 10 seconds.
Yeah, in this movie, and it's even stated by Doofenshmirtz for other reality. Like, bro, my parents didn't show up to my birth, and you're getting upset over a toy choo choo.
Yeah, and how the fuck do your parents not show up to your birth?
I don't know, but he accomplished it.
Yeah, somehow.
Grew up
Like,
with ocelots.
yeah, everything in this movie is funny. It is just fucking hilarious. I do feel like they underutilized Isabella. She's like one of my favorite characters,
I don't
but
know. I
that's
liked
beside the point.
the other reality Isabella,
Yeah, I did. I liked her
especially the
too. It's just
line is like, what you doing?" In like a completely threatening tone.
yeah, I thought it was funny. Like it's a perfect foil for Isabella's "What you doing?"
Okay, but can we talk about Phineas and Ferb's reaction to Perry the Platypus? One of my favorite lines is just, "Is that a logo? He has his own logo?"
I also really loved the joke where it was like, "I always thought you couldn't spell platypus without us," and then Ferb says, "Well, you can, but it would just be platip."
Oh, Ferb, never change.
Yeah, I, you know, I do love it when Ferb actually gets dialogue
Yeah,
because I feel like he doesn't get enough.
well, that's the thing. He doesn't have a lot of dialogue, so when he does, it means a lot.
Yeah, and then there's that one time when Ferb sang an entire song, um, in one episode.
What a great song. It had Ferb in it.
Yes, yes, it had Ferb in
I
it.
just
He was the only singer.
Okay, so in one of the episodes of Phineas and Ferb, and I bring this up, this is important. Not Bougie, Buford mentions that, oh, Phineas is angry, it must be a special episode. And yeah, this definitely transfers into this, and also any other crossovers. I remember Phineas got pissed in the Marvel crossover. Like,
To be honest, I don't think I've ever watched either crossover.
I had to. My brother was into that, so I just
Yeah,
see
like
that on
I,
the TV.
I wonder like if there are songs in those crossovers.
I can't remember. I think so. I mean, that's kind of Phineas and Ferb's thing.
Yeah, like I would hope so. But yeah, something else I love that they referenced is the the whole thing where Candace is allergic to parsnips and her voice just gets replaced with with Dan Povenmire's voice.
Oh, that's great. I actually remember someone
It
asked, who voiced that to Dan, and he was just like, "Yeah, let me just do this voice real sec."
yeah, it was like I love that Dan Povenmire's basically become a TikToker now.
I sometimes watch his YouTube shorts.
Yeah, it's the same thing. He just uploads the same
I know.
ones
I know
on
that
both TikTok and YouTube.
he just it's they're basically the same thing. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, just
Yeah, they are.
YouTube just loves
And
copying the
like,
good stuff.
and he just also does a very good job at voicing Doofenshmirtz, who, by the way, also has a fantastic song in this movie.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Were technically the only singers that were Doofenshmirtz and Doofenshmirtz.
Yes, it's a duet between Doofenshmirtz and Doofenshmirtz.
I really want to know how they recorded that. Did they have to sing the entire song and then sing it again? That'd be funny.
But yeah, I think I want to say the song is in the next movie.
Hmm.
If it's not, I'm gonna feel really weird, and I'm gonna have to look up where that song is from. But I think the next movie has a duet between Doofenshmirtz and Isabella.
Um, yeah, I can't remember. I do remember watching it,
Yeah,
though I don't think so. Mostly because I don't think they were in the
I
same area at the same time.
they should have both been like on an alien planet, and they were trying to get through like a jungle,
I can't
and
remember if
whatever. This is
Isabella was even in that movie. I cannot remember her role.
God. I hope I'm right. Because that song is like one of my favorite songs in the show. It's fucking hilarious.
Anyway,
But yeah, I think this movie is pretty good. It's got some good music. It's got some entertaining. It's got an entertaining enough plot. I do think they overdo it with the whole Phineas being mad at Perry thing. And I don't particularly like the kiss scene.
mhm.
I think it's weird.
Yeah,
As much as I ship Phineas and Isabella, that's a weird scene.
this movie, uh, like the last, TV movie we covered, that's obviously not meant to take seriously. I feel like this is a very middle. It's a comedy movie. Like it does want to take itself seriously at some points, but just not at all at others.
But yeah, and I also love that unlike SpongeBob, this show doesn't rely on like fart humor and butt humor.
Yeah, it relies on bullying.
I mean, with the entire character of Buford, yeah.
And don't forget about Baljeet being
I
the person being bullied.
yeah, I mean, it's like, speaking of Buford and Baljeet, I am very upset that uh Frenemies is not on Spotify.
It's not
Nope, it's
weird.
not.
These are,
It angers me so much because that is a hilarious fucking song.
yeah, so I do love these characters a lot, but honestly, like speaking completely honest, I don't like what they've done with it and like what they've done recently. The show is over.
You mean with like,
Let it be over.
yeah, like I don't think Milo Murphy's Law needed to exist. I'm okay with the 2018 Disney Plus movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I understand like what they were wanting with Miles Murphy's Law, and its original premise was just to be a different show. They just wanted to make another show, but then I guess secretly they also want to bring in the other characters, but I don't think that's what you should have developed more time on the identity of Miles Murphy's Law instead of trying to shoehorn in the previous characters from your previous show.
yeah, and something else I want to look into.
Hmm.
I want to take a look and see like how Hamster and Gretel is. Um, privately, not for the
Yeah.
podcast. Because I don't think I very much don't think it's the type of show that we could even cover on the podcast.
No, not really. I've seen bits and pieces of it. From
I've seen nothing.
yeah, my brother and sister were watching it, so I just kind of viewed in and was like, yeah, I think I know who made this.
Yeah, it's Dan Povenmire.
Yeah,
He made Phineas and Ferb, Milo Murphy's Law, and Hamster
yeah,
and
his art
Gretel.
style is
And he also wrote some.
very noticeable.
He also wrote some episodes of SpongeBob.
The campfire song.
Yeah. That's the only thing I know that he wrote in SpongeBob.
Honestly, god damn it, now it's stuck in my head. I hate you.
Good. How much time have we gone through on this?
30
Because
minutes.
I feel like I'm out of stuff to say.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't really said my feelings on this movie, but I don't know how to express the feelings. You know?
I feel Yeah, I feel like it's perfectly adequate. Like it's an adequate movie. Um oh yeah, there's one other thing I do want to mention. Streaming this movie is a little weird because there is one particular point in the movie
Hmm.
where it would have cut to commercial, and because it doesn't do that, there's a line of dialogue that just fully gets repeated.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I can't remember what the line of dialogue
Not a
was,
clue.
but it's like somewhere about like halfway through the movie.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously know that there's a cut because it goes to black.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing that didn't happen in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie because that was a theatrical release.
I so wish I
But
could have
I
seen that
honestly think this,
in theaters.
yeah, I honestly think this movie is better though.
I don't know. Honestly, for some reason, I feel like I laughed more in the SpongeBob episode, like that movie. Though there was still amazing parts in this movie as well.
Yeah, at least with Phineas and Ferb, I feel like that show is more consistently better than
Oh yeah,
SpongeBob.
the show definitely. Though, I mean, there's still a lot of gold in SpongeBob's earlier seasons. Some I would even say better than Phineas and Ferb's weaker episodes.
Maybe. Um, I'm kind of considering going back and rewatching the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob.
But I should too. Obviously not on the podcast
Yeah,
because, well, what would we even
hell no.
say?
Yeah, just hell no. But like at the same time, I don't know how many episodes are in each season, so I feel like that might be biting off more than I can chew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about the critic ratings for this.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, IMDb IMDb gives this movie a 7.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 100%.
Now I'm saying,
That just
like,
means that no one
what?
who works for them rated it rotten. But
I mean, yeah.
that's still surprising because like none of the Back to the Future movies even got that to my knowledge. And I don't think this movie is better than any of the Back to the Future movies.
But also, I mean, I would never rate this rotten.
Yeah. And then 79% of Google users liked this movie.
79. That was supposed to
Yeah.
be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, but let's hear your rating.
Oh, my rating. I remember what I gave this SpongeBob episode, and I guess I do want to rate it higher, but not much. So let's say 8.
Yeah, I'm giving this movie a 7.9.
Just 1 point higher of being too much water.
Yeah. And it's also like 5 higher than what I rated SpongeBob, I think. I feel like I couldn't justify it going above like 8.0 because of the kiss scene that rubs me the wrong way.
Well,
But yeah, I think with all that being said, you can join us, what was it, next week for uh,
what?
The
Yeah, The
Matrix.
Matrix.
Going from Phineas and Ferb to The Matrix is a really weird transition, but all right.
Fun.
So yeah, you can join us next week for The Matrix and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. But until then, I've been Avery, that's been Lily, and oh, there you are, Perry.